Guys, is Target cheap compared to Walmart and Costco right now? I'm going to look at a chart and a bunch of metrics and compare the three of them and show you why I think Target is a very good deal right now. Now, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy the stock. I happen to already own some stock, but by the time you watch this video, I may have more Target, less Target, or no Target. So do not base your buying decisions on what I may or may not be holding at the time. So Target is in the weird position of being hated by both the left and the right now. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of Target and I don't normally shop there, but if I think I can make some money on the stock, I'll buy it. Just like I don't normally drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Bud Light, but if I think I can make money on the stock, I will buy it. And speaking of Bud Light, that's an example of people having a short memory, because the same people that were angry about it a year or two back are now drinking it, and the stock is now up from its lows because all the bad news has kind of been forgotten to some extent. Could Target be in the same kind of boat for a comeback? Let's take a look. Okay, so let's look at the charts of Target. This is the monthly chart, the weekly chart, and the daily chart. As you see, the high was like $268 in 2022. Now it's like 97, although the monthly technicals look like they have bottomed out. Mostly the weekly chart looks like it's starting to want to trend up. So not bad looking for bottom fishing here from a real company that is not going out of business anytime soon. You do see that their earnings were $3 a share here, and now they're $1.30. But that news is already out and built into the stock. And the thing with companies that have bad earnings surprises and their stock tanks a lot, as long as the company is not going out of business and has a good chance of turning things around eventually, there's usually a point where it bottoms out, plays along the bottom for a little while, and then some kind of little good news or catalyst or some big investor buys a certain portion of the stock to get a board seat or to agitate or something like that. And then there's usually like a jump of 10% or something like that overnight on some news or some catalyst or better than expected earnings or something like that. And then you feel like you missed the boat. So looking at Budweiser, you see the stock was down because of the boycott and all this stuff, and went as low as, say, $46. Now it's $71. And you see it had a big up month right here. You could see that in other stocks as well. Dollar Tree had bad earnings from $2.55 down to $1.26, and the stock dropped from like $1.50 to $60, and it sat around there, found support, and it just blew up in the last basically 3 months from like 60 to almost 100. So that's better than a 50% gain. Similar story with Dollar General. It was what, $2.59, went as low as 66. Now it's 113 in a matter of what, 3-4 months after it built a base of a few months. So I rather sit with some pain for a few months over here than try to chase it when it's 85, 90, 95, 100, because then any pullback, you feel like you paid too much, right? So I'm going to compare Target to Walmart and Costco price-wise, value-wise, but also Target standalone as, is it a good investment for your money? Does it give a good return right now, right? So looking at the return of these three over whatever, 30 years, Costco absolutely blows everybody out of the water, but Target and Walmart are kind of similar. But anyway, these are a lot more important here. Look at the PE ratio of Target is 10, Walmart is 40, Costco is 55. And the forward PE for Target is like 13, Walmart is 35, Costco is 50. Now, Costco is growing faster than Walmart and definitely Target, but not enough to get a 50 PE ratio. That is crazy. All right, the dividend yield on Target 4.68, Walmart 1, Costco 0.53. But more importantly, the free cash flow is 3.53 billion. All right, 13 for Walmart, 7 for Costco. And I bet you wouldn't know this if somebody asked you, but the profit margin at Target, the net profit margin is almost 4%, while Walmart is only 2.75 and Costco is 2.9. So a full 1 percentage point at least more than Costco and Walmart. So the most important difference between these is the free cash flow yield, which is about 8% for Target and only 1.79 and 1.67 for Costco. So what is the free cash flow and why is it important? Think of this as if you bought all of the stock in Target, you bought the whole company, how much would it pay you every year based on its current earnings after paying off taxes, salaries, any kind of improvements, whatever? This is what you're left with at the end of the year. Now, this is trailing 12 months. So the last 4 quarters would give you about $3.5 billion on a market cap of 44 billion. So if you paid 44 billion for this whole company, you would get 3.5 billion a year. That's about a 8% free cash flow yield, right? So if you bought all of Walmart, you would only get about 1.79% on your money per year and 1.67 with Costco. So these are wildly overpriced compared to the actual cash that they earn every year. And if you take their debt and divide it by the free cash flow, so how many years would it take to pay off all of their debt just from their free cash flow? It's 5.51 for Target and 5.08 for Walmart and only 1.12 for Costco. So now maybe Target is cheaper because it's not as good as Walmart or Costco in terms of revenue growth and earnings per share growth. But let's take a look. Target revenue growth minus 0.69, Walmart 4.2, Costco 5.9. So definitely growing faster, but not to command a 50 PE for a 6% revenue growth rate. And their earnings per share is growing 2% at Target, 0.43 at Walmart, and 9.3% at Costco. Costco is definitely a better operator, but I do not want to pay 4 times or so what you're paying to get Target. So Target looks like it's trying to build a base over here. Maybe the people that were buying it up here are out of the stock and a new class of buyers are buying down here for the value of it. And like I said, it's better to get in early than wait when some news comes out and this thing pops to, 105 or something like that. And then you say, oh, damn, I missed it. Let me wait for it to come back. And then it never does. That doesn't mean this thing can't go lower. It definitely could. I don't trust any stock or any company. There's no such thing as a good stock or good company. It's only a stock that's acting good for the time being. But can I see this stock get back up to, say, the 50-week moving average after maybe a decent earnings report and a few write-ups, a few upgrades, some activist investor buying a little of it or something like that? Absolutely, it could get there very easily. And so I don't mean very easily. It'll take some time to get there. It's not going to be overnight, but I'm saying that it's not going up to 268 anytime soon. I'm not saying buy it and you're going to be at 268. I'm saying buy this or average in or whatever, and maybe in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, it might be 115, 120, 125, something along those lines. Similar to a Budweiser, a Dollar Tree, a Dollar General, something like that. So guys, what do you think? Does Target look like a pretty good value right now and the 4.68 dividend while you wait for some decent news to come out, for people to forget how much they hate it on both sides, and for it to kind of bounce back to a more realistic value, especially when Walmart and Costco are so overpriced compared to Target? Let me know if you own it or you are thinking of owning it in the near future. Thanks for watching, guys.